Well, hello, everybody, and you are very welcome to another edition of Writer's Block with Miriam O'Gara. And I'm so excited to have today's guest. You will recognize her as Mary, mother of Gertie and Michael, and of course, Elliot in E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. She hasn't changed a bit, not one single bit. You will also know her from 10 and Critters and countless movies and television series. But what you may not know about Dee Wallace is that she is also a healer and an internationally renowned speaker on creative consciousness and self-creation. And today, and I can actually say, Dee, that it is today because in this part of the world, it is already the 1st of December. Today, the 1st of December, she publishes a wonderful book. This is, I think, your 6th book. Am I correct in saying? Yep. And it is just wonderful. It is called Born, and it is an absolutely stunning read. I've read it this week, and I'm so excited about it. Dee, this is wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for doing your homework, and thank you for reading my book.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful book. And just for people who are watching, you know, this isn't a pan-spiritualism book. There are lots of things that this book isn't. You know, it's not a book on guides, spirit guides, or anything like that. This is something very different. And some of you may not have come across the concept of creative consciousness before. So, Dee, can you talk to us about this book in more detail? It's out today. Born.
Yes, I can. I've wanted to write this book for years. And when I started writing it, I realized why I hadn't written it until now, because I wasn't finished learning about what I had to write about. The creation process is so incredibly easy. We have made it extremely difficult. We have made it ethereal. We have made it untouchable and unreachable, right? The beauty, I think, about Born is it's a primer. It's a short, easy, entertaining primer for everything you have to know about manifesting what you want in your life. And it was intentionally written that way. And it shows how brain science and religion and spirituality are all saying the same thing.
Yes.
You know, I think so many people kind of, you know, go like this from both sides. If you're on the scientific side, you go, yeah, well, I don't need to know any of that spiritual mamby-pamby. And if you're on the spiritual side, you don't go, well, what does science have to do with God, right? And it's fascinating when you literally find out how much alike they are. For example, the good book says, around love and joy and peace, think only on these things. Spirituality says, you know, hold your focus on what you want. Brain science says, whatever you focus on, you create. So what I want people to understand is that we're electrical beings. Our hearts are measured by electrocardiograms. Our brains are measured by electroencephalograms. So when we think and we feel, we shoot off electrical impulses into the atmosphere.
Yes.
Now, the planet is an electromagnetic being in itself.
Yes.
So when we shoot off electrically those impulses, the electromagnetic universe, like a magnet, matches whatever we send out. So if you send out, you know, I'm not worthy and I'm not important and I'm not smart enough, the universe will match that frequency and return it back to you, just like you would get a television station that you tune into. So if you want to get the life you want or the program you want, you've got to send out the things that match that.
Yes. And this is where I feel we get very, when you've read this and learned it and come to understand it in other areas of your life, and you realize that we haven't been properly educated in these things. The universe matches up with our thoughts because, as you've said, they are electrical impulses that go out. They are matching up with each other. And this is understood, but we don't get told about it. We're conditioned not to accept it.
We actually get taught the opposite.
Yes.
We are taught not to be powerful. We are taught that God will not love us if we are powerful, that our friends and family will judge us if we are too powerful, because everybody equates power with force. And that's not what true power is. The most powerful frequency on the planet is love.
Yes.
Love can and will create anything if you hold the feeling and really hold the focus on what it is you want. So I teach everybody to find their love place. And their love place is anything that makes you smile and opens your heart. I go right to my little dog Freedom, or my daughter when she was a baby, or my beautiful Hawaii that I love. Just, that's how easy it is. Just think of something right now that you go, ah, and then that's what money is, guys.
And you're already there. You're already there.
Like that. You don't have to meditate 2 hours to get there.
Well, this is what is interesting in the book. You get to that message very, very quickly. And I'm sure a lot of us who are, like, I would be interested in this kind of thing in the ordinary way. And, you know, sometimes, you know, if you're trying to connect with your guides or your angels or whatever it is, and you're realizing, I'm not getting there, there's a part of you that says, hang on, should it require all this effort?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't. Because, look, everything is energy. We learned that in 5th grade. Everything is energy.
And that's chapter 1 of your book. That's
right. You've got to understand that before you understand anything. And energy has always been here, will always be here, and it's neutral. So energy doesn't become positive or negative, good or bad, until we direct it toward one of those things.
Yes.
And through our direction, that's why we're here on this planet, to learn free will and how to use it.
Yes. Yes. And you go, this is really interesting. You talk about direction, as you say, and intent, and making that intent really clear, that when you are calling on the universe, make it absolutely clear what your intent is. Yeah.
If you wanted to go into a restaurant and you said to the waiter, well, just bring me something. I want something good. He doesn't know what to bring you. Well, neither does the universe, right?
Yes.
You have to make a choice, and then you have to commit to that choice. Feel love around it. Hold your focus on it and ask the universe to partner with you. In a nutshell, that's pretty much it. And I'm telling you, I live miracles every day.
This is what you say in your preface. In your preface, you say, I've never known my channel to be wrong.
Yeah, I haven't.
Isn't it amazing? Can you just explain to people for a moment, when you use the term channel, I know what you mean, but just for the people watching, how would you describe that? And I'm also thinking about your radio show, because viewers, Dee also has on Blog Talk Blog Talk Radio. She has a show that's been going. She had her 590th episode yesterday. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful show, but it is on creative consciousness. And also she is tuning into her channel all the time. Would you be able to explain to viewers as best you can in a nutshell what that means?
It's easy. So all the information is hanging out right up here. But like the good book says, you have to ask if you're going to get it. So
ask and you shall receive.
That's right. So you just have to have the intention. All right. I'm going to be a conduit for information that I'm asking for to come in. That's all. Anybody can channel, guys. Children do it all the time.
Yes.
If you ever talk to a kid who has an imaginary friend, that's channeling.
Yes.
Or one of my friends adopted a little boy, and he was around 4 years old, and they were stopped at a stoplight, and he pointed to a big truck across the street, and he said, "Mommy, see that truck? That's how I died with my last mommy." We're connected.
Reincarnation. Yeah.
We are connected to all the information and all the knowledge. But again, energy must be directed.
Yes.
So you, we must say, all right, I am a clear channel. And I am bringing in only the highest information and the highest knowledge with the highest understanding. That is my command to energy. Now, I want to talk about that word command for a minute, because most people don't understand that ask in the original Hebrew means claim or demand.
Nice.
So ask and you receive means demand that it be delivered to you and you receive. Puts a whole different spin on it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, most of us are taught, oh, please, if I'm worthy, you know, if it's okay, if I'm accepted in your eyes, could I maybe have just a little bit of, no, that's not what it means. It says, I love me, I know my magnificence, I am made in the image and likeness of the greatest creative force, whatever you call it, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And I am commanding the highest information and knowledge and understanding to come through for me now and consistently.
Yes.
And then, of course, you know, there's a little period of there where you get to play with yourself and work with the information and build up your trust, right? When this started happening to me, it was very interesting because I had just started an acting studio. So my husband passed quite suddenly. And I dropped to my knees and I said, these are the exact words I said, I don't want to be pissed off and I don't want to be a victim. I want a way we heal ourselves. So I was asking, wasn't I?
Yes.
And like that, the first message came in, use the light within you to heal yourself. And I went, well, I've sort of kind of heard that, you know, but I really don't know what it meant. And so I went into my acting studio and people would start a scene and I would start getting these messages about blocks that they had and the age that it started and the parent that it started with, and their lives started changing, and then their parents started to work with me, and then their friends, and now I have clients all over the world, including Ireland.
Oh, I was
yeah.
just going to say, isn't that wonderful? But I also, I remember from the book you mentioned that was it just before you got the role of Mary in E.T. that you started seriously changing your approach and
Yeah,
calling in the universe to make
yeah.
things change in your life? Was it just
I
before that role?
Yes, it was 2 months, and that's what I want people to know. If you stay the course, you see what you're getting 2 months from now, you're creating right now. So if you stay in creation every day of your life, it starts to show up in about a month and a half to 2 months. But then you do it every day. So then it's just a continuous flow. And
Yes.
it's amazing. So yes, I wrote down everything I wanted. And my channel is big on writing stuff down, really encourages you to do that. Because you think you know, but most of us have never put it into words. We kind of sort of know, well, I want to be a successful actress. Well, there's a lot of ways I could be a successful actress. What specifically do I want?
Yes.
Am I willing to work with assholes, for example,
Yeah.
to be a successful actress?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
you learn all those things while you go. So you want to write it down, and then my teacher back then didn't talk about matching it up with love. But what happened to me is when I went in to the daydream of it, I just automatically was there.
Yes.
It's what I loved. It's what rocked my boat. It's what made me happy. So it literally 2 months, this is such a Hollywood story. 2 months after I started doing this, my agent called and said, Steven Spielberg wants to offer you a part in his next film. Not can you come in and audition, because
Yes.
that was one of the things on my sheet, is that I don't want to have to jump through a lot of hoops. I want to attract people to me who know and appreciate my talent.
I
Right?
couldn't believe it. When I read that part of the story in the book, I just thought, oh my gosh, the fact that there was no audition for this.
And I'm telling you,
It was on your list.
It has happened to me so many times in so many different ways.
Yes.
It's almost, well, it is. It's miraculous. I created and I think I talk about creating the series that I got. And I was teaching, and I thought, I really want to go back to work. I want to stay in town so I can still teach. But I want some steady work. So I thought, I'm going to make a plan to create a series. And I wrote down everything I wanted, great people to work with, and really being challenged in the part. And I didn't want to have to go to the network.
Yes.
Right. So about a month and a half later, my agent calls, says, Dee, they want to see you for this series. I went, oh, really? She said, it's a comedy. I went, what? I'm not known for comedy. I do dramatic stuff. But okay, I'll go. She said, and it's improv. I went, what? I don't even know if I'm good at improv, But I said, okay, I'll go, which is another lesson, because the universe is going to create it better for you than you can ever imagine putting it together for yourself. So I went in, fell in love with the guy right away. And he said, well, what it is we have a script and you work around a script, and you bring in your own ideas. So we did a couple, and I went, oh my God, I'm really good at this. This is really
Improv is so high risk, and you turn out to realize you're really good at it.
This was really fun.
Yeah.
And I'm funny. And,
yes, you were.
And I'm getting ready to leave. And he said, oh, and by the way, you won't be going to the network for this because there's no way to audition improv. And I went, and scene. Yeah. I mean, it was like, and here, Dee, here's everything you had on your sheet of paper. And wow. The series ran for 3 years. It really was the precursor for all of the things like The Office and
yes. And I mean, that was really, really good. A 3-year run is great.
Yeah, it is.
That's fantastic. I mean, what I loved about this book as well is how you made it so the language is so accessible, and your planning of the book. You also made sure that you put in a glossary of terms so that people understood exactly what you meant by things like alignment and 0 point.
Yes, the 0 point.
So just for our viewers, do you want to take us there for a moment? Because really the 0 point is crucial, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And the easiest way I can explain to you, well, my channel is taking me right to Einstein. You can't create something new out of the old beliefs that created where you're at now. Those weren't his words, but that's what he meant.
Yeah.
And so basically we have to let go of our stories. Nobody cares about your stories anymore, guys. I know you think they do, but they don't really. They only care about what you're doing now. So we've all had our stories. Look, I grew up in a very poor family. My father was a severe alcoholic because of the war that he served in, ended up committing suicide, lost my husband at 55 very early. My younger brother committed suicide 2 years ago. You know, we've all got our stories.
Gosh.
What story do you want to write now? Yeah. That's my question to you. Write the story that's going to give you what you want now. Start defining yourself not as a victim, but as a victor who's a creative force in this world, who's going to create what you want.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if it was possible for me, little Deanna Bowers, never been out of Kansas. I was a high school teacher, and I said, I'm going to New York. And I just had that blind faith, that naivete. Yeah. And the universe just said, go here, go here, go there, go there. I went to a party with a guy that I met in an audition. At the end of it, 3 people, friends of his, came up and said, can you come by the office Monday? We think we'd like to work with you. And I went, oh, what do you do? Well, they were the biggest commercial agents in New York.
Oh my God.
That's what I mean. You can't plan these things, but you can summon them to you.
Yes.
If you are in alignment, and that means loving yourself, feeling fabulous about what you want.
Now that's another thing, Dee. You also you're very careful around chapter 8 to highlight feelings.
Oh.
Feelings and thoughts together. Feelings, and you mentioned specifically the feeling of joy. Allow yourself to get excited. Like I get very excited when I get people like you on who know what they're talking about. You know?
Oh my God.
Oh, come on, she's so
funny. I'm so happy.
Feel the joy.
You know,
as you say, feel the joy.
Yeah, that's
feelings.
A simple little exercise, but you know what it does? It tells your brain, right, that you're feeling joy around already having the money. Your
Yes.
body is engaged. You're shooting out signals to the universe of joy and money. That little simple exercise kind of brings it all together.
Yeah, and you really do have to disconnect from the naysayers,
Oh,
don't you?
you know what I do? I look at him and go, thank you for sharing. I had 6 doctors that told me I would never get pregnant, specialists. And I looked at every one of them and went, thank you for sharing, but God and I have a different plan. Took me 6 years, but I had my baby girl. She's 33 now and my best friend. And, you know, you are more powerful than you ever know, guys.
Yeah.
You are more powerful, but you have to accept that power.
Yes. Yes. You have
And
to
when
accept
you are, when you are powerful through divine love, you cannot misuse your power. I want everybody to hear that.
Oh, that's an important point now,
Yeah.
Dee. That's a very important point. Just talk to us about what you mean there.
Well, divine love is unconditional love. It is the highest form of love. And when you do everything through the frequency of love, you cannot and will not betray what you are creating with hate or greed or fear or any of that.
Yeah. Now, you see that this is where some of the naysayers would come in and say, oh, well, if I were to consider myself the I am God or I am all powerful, I am the universe, oh, sure, we'd all end up as little Hitlers. That's the kind of thing you'll get, you know? But
Well,
that's
true if you are using force.
Yes. Yes.
Most people equate power with force. But true power is Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Christ, Buddha.
And that's the difference. That's the difference.
True power doesn't have to be loud or boisterous or pushy at all.
Yes.
True power allows things to unfold.
Yes. Absolutely wonderful. And just I know it's on the 5th of December that this book will be, you've basically released a children's book too. And I find this wonderful because you're catering to those young people who already have this channel open.
Yes.
And keeping it open. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't get my hands on a copy of this because there wasn't a galley copy of this available. But can you talk to me a little bit about the two coming out together? So you've Born, which has been published tomorrow in the United States.
Bupalopaloo will also be available.
Oh,
at the same time now.
Oh, right. So the publication date has been brought forward. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Bupalopaloo and the I Love Me's. And Bupalopaloo is that precious little bear there. And the first book teaches the first principle of creation, that you have to choose. That you can't listen, the little boy says, well, Grandma says I'm not tall enough, and Daddy says I'm not old enough, and Mommy says I'm, too shy. And Buppa says, well, you haven't asked the most important person. And the little boy goes, well, who's that? And Buppa says, you. Who do you want to be?
Yeah.
Well, I want to be strong, and I want to be old enough. And so then he finds toys and opportunities that allow him to experience what he wants to do. So it combines the principle of choice with self-definition that we talked about. And it's so beautifully illustrated by an Italian artist, Vincenzo Lodato. Beautiful illustrations.
It is. And the age group that this is directed at is what age group would you put it in approximately?
Probably
Mine.
1 to 3. 1 to 3 or 4.
1 to 3 or 4, yeah.
You know, but the parents that read it to the kids are probably going to learn as much.
I was just thinking, yeah. It
Yeah.
takes you there. That is wonderful. And to have them both coming out. But now, so that would be your 7th publication.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Probably your
Yeah, I really hadn't looked at that.
No, most likely that's your 7th altogether.
You know, I just, when the pandemic hit, I woke up and all the studios had closed down. And I went, oh my God, how am I going to make a living?
I know.
And the channel said, the studios are not your living. Your consciousness is your living. And so they said to me, get up every day and say, okay, what can I create? And do you know, I had one of the best years I've ever had. It was, I write about it in the end of the book. It was crazy to watch. Stuff came to me. I mean, my agent called the first month and said, well, I don't believe this, but I negotiated this thing for Ghostbusters for you. They used a little clip from CUJO like over a year ago and never heard back from them. Well, we just got a check from them. They're going to use it. That's what I mean by when you're in alignment and you're open to all the possibilities in magic, like a comedy improv series. I still just marvel at that. When you're open to all the possibilities and you love yourself and you hold yourself in that state of love and you know what you want, the universe will find you.
Yes, the universe will find you.
Crazy, awesome, fun, miraculous journey to be on.
It is. It is. And when I'm listening to you on your program, I'm very interested in the way also that I know that now that there will be a side to this that is a personal side to the question. I don't expect you to answer that. But when your callers come through, I often hear you say almost things that are more in the area of prediction and affirmation. And yet I know you've said in the book that this isn't about affirmations and things like, and mantras and things like that. But I do hear you say, the channel is giving me a negative on that, or the channel is giving me an affirmative on that. But this type of relationship that you seem to have developed, has that relationship changed over the years? Or do you feel when you were very young that you actually always had a greater sensitivity and greater connection with the channel, but just didn't have the name, didn't have that?
Absolutely. I mean, I used to get messages all the time when I was little. But, when it happens to you from the beginning, you don't think it's weird.
It's your normal. Yeah.
And then when I got to college, I just didn't focus on it. I wasn't living in the house where it happened a lot either. And then when I married my husband, he was very involved in a philosophy called conceptology. And we would go down twice a month to study conceptology. And conceptology was really a precursor before The Secret and all this stuff happened. It's different also than The Secret. But that started opening up my channel again. And then I found my acting mentor, Charles Conrad, and he taught us a technique where you get your energy very, very, very high. I mean, super high. and you throw all your attention onto the person that you are working with, or the werewolf or the dog or whatever. And what that does is it opens your channel.
Right. Okay.
So I felt like I found freedom when I found Charles.
Yes.
And for me, E.T. on, I've never broken down a script. I've never asked where am I coming from or where am I going to. I just don't do any of that. I read it and let the character take me over, get my energy very high, and I literally channel the character.
Yeah.
And we would see stuff in Charles' class all the time where, for instance, we weren't allowed to ever do a scene that we knew or that we had seen before or done before. So I started doing this scene, and Charles threw his pencil at me and he said, "Dee Wallace, you've seen this scene before." I said, "Charles, I don't have a clue about this scene. I don't know what this scene is about." He said, "This scene is about a girl who can't walk. Why are you limping?" I said, "I didn't realize I was limping." And he sat back. "You really haven't seen this scene before?" Well, then, of course, I became the model for the class. Now, you see, this is what can happen when you really just trust the technique. But it's true. When you really trust that you're the conduit for the information and you let go, it all comes through you.
It all comes through, and even your physical responses start to be automatic. Isn't that extraordinary?
Yeah.
Isn't that extraordinary?
Well, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I did a part, a movie of the week, where I played this Mormon wife, and my agent went to see the screening of it, and he went, "Wow, did they do a good makeup job on you?" And I said, "I don't have any makeup on."
No.
He said, "What do you mean, Dee? Your whole face is a different shape, I said, "It's the character."
Oh my God.
Oh, well, if you look at a lot of my movies, like I just came out in a Rob Zombie movie called 3 from Hell, and I play a guard, and a critic called Rob and said, "I'm reviewing your film and I really like it, but did you cut Dee Wallace out?" He said, "No, she's in there. She's the guard. You just don't recognize her." And he went, "Oh my God, that's Dee Wallace," right? So you just
trust the process.
Yeah, trust yourself. Yeah.
And what about were you ever in a situation where you'd committed to a project where the director or other actors around you really wanted you to break down and analyze so much the role that you were playing opposite them, and that was there ever a situation where you just had to say, "Look, my technique is a little different here. This is what I do.
Yes.
I can't break with that."
Well, but it's my job to be able to work with other actors.
Yes.
So I can technically walk through and rehearse anything.
Yeah.
But when I go into my technique, it takes on a whole different energetic frequency.
I get you now. Okay. I get you now.
But,
Absolutely.
Of course I have to work with all kinds of directors and actors. That's my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know where we are on time, but
sure.
I want to cover the three pillars because I think
Yes, absolutely.
it's so important. And of course, I go into a lot more detail, but if you really want to get the life you want, these three pillars have to come together. They kind of hold up the house. How you see yourself,
Yes.
how you see the world, and how you see the world seeing you. So, for example, I can say I am an actress, but it's not possible for me to go to New York and be an actress in this world. Who am I kidding? See, it stops right there.
Yeah.
Or if I say I am an actress and boy, I'm going to go out into the world and I bet there's room for me out there. And then I think, oh, but everybody's going to look at me and judge me like I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not a good actress. Stops right there.
It stops right there. Yeah.
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 So it doesn't really matter what anybody or anything else is doing. It only matters that you choose to see the world open to you around where you want to be. And you see everybody looking at you going, yeah, she's an actress, or yeah, he's really successful in that business. You know, you choose that. You choose what you will give you the life you want.
Absolutely. And Dee, in against the background of everything we've been talking about, do you feel that there's been a shift in consciousness through this pandemic? Do you feel that anything might be happening to the global consciousness of people to make them seek this out?
I'm going to ask. I just balanced myself. I'm working with a pendulum. Has there been a shift in the consciousness? Is that the right question? Yes. Is it a positive shift? Yes. And they won't allow me to use the word but. And while, hold on, I'm waiting for the words. While the majority of the consciousness is coming together in their knowing, a lot of the negative things appear to be taking over, but they're not. And they're not. Okay, boy, I got slapped. And they're not. Okay. So don't allow the illusion of that to draw your attention. That's where the challenge is. What world do you want to see? In the channel teaches a breathing exercise that, according to my channel, is the most powerful thing that the channel's ever given us. And you go to your love place. Most important, you start there. Take a deep breath in to the count of 3 or 4. Smile. And as you exhale, you say, I am health. I am money. Whatever subject, I am glorious, fabulous relationships, right?
Yes.
So you do that for 10 minutes. Now, what I've added now is I see the United States and I say, I am united and balanced and love. And then I see a globe and I say, I am world peace and balance and love, because it all starts individually within us.
Yes.
You are more powerful than you will ever know.
Can I say thank you to the channel for coming through to you with that message? Thank you to the universe. And gratitude is a big thing in the book. Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Well, gratitude and love are so close. You know, when your heart is grateful, it's happy, isn't it?
Absolutely. But that was a very positive message to have come through there. And I'm very grateful. I am very grateful to the universe for that. And I'm very grateful to you for having given us that message today. Look, everyone watching, this is an absolutely wonderful read. And for any of us, I know at the beginning of this whole pandemic, I'm a singer, gigs stopped. I fell back on teaching as well. That stopped. And then turned to this. A lot of us have had to, I don't like to say pivot, but pirouette, if you like.
Adapt.
But, yes. And you have to connect with yourself. I have had to reconnect with myself.
Yeah.
And this has brought
the greatest gift.
It is. Right, it is. Absolutely. And that's why I really appeal to people. Please have a look at this book. This is a wonderful Christmas present for people. But it is really a book that will immediately reassure you, immediately point out that, look, you don't have to climb the stairs, climb the mountain. It can happen now.
Yeah.
Just now. It is that simple. It's so simple you doubt it.
Exactly. Thank you. Because most of us are taught that struggle, no pain, no gain.
This is it. This is exactly what we're taught.
Well, and it's not true, guys. Look at a little kid. A little kid knows exactly what they want. They tell you exactly what they want.
Yes.
They're joyful about getting it until they're taught to stuff that down and be more adult.
And our animals do the same. Oh, look. Dee Wallace, you are absolutely wonderful. I'm going to continue listening to your shows. Everybody, you will find her on Podbean. It's Dee Wallace, Creative Consciousness. Her show is on
Conscious Creation is
Conscious Creation. Show. I beg your pardon.
That's all right.
That's what happens when you start getting old.
Oh, what? I'm sorry. How did you just define yourself, woman?
I'm young.
Look how beautiful you are. Oh my God.
And very, very wonderful people coming on as well. And they get so much from it. Tune in, everybody. You will really enjoy the show. You'll find it on Podbean. That's where I listen. And just thank you so much, Dee, for giving your precious time today. You are wonderful and you are a joy to have had on the show. And I wish you look fabulous. You sound fabulous. You're sending your energy to us. And thank you for that wonderful message as well. And thank you to the channel. Absolutely great. And I hope I'll be able to have you on in the future.
Absolutely. I've had a ball. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful gift that you've got. And we needed it. I needed it. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Miriam O'Gara and this is Writer's Block. And our guest today was the wonderful Dee Wallace. Bye-bye for now.